Hey guys, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm so excited that I have the new Colourpop Hocus Pocus palette. I'm very excited to have picked this up. I actually got it at Ulta the day that it launched in stores, and I'm very happy that I got this because I got to my Ulta right when the store opened, which was at 11, and I could not believe that it was already like sold out. Like, I got there and there was a huge line outside, and I originally wanted to get this and one of the gel liners. Unfortunately, the gel liners were sold out and there were 4 palettes left, so I was able to pick up one of these palettes, which I'm very happy about, but I wasn't able to get anything else from the collection. If they do restock it, I'll probably pick up the liner I wanted at some point, but I am very excited to get into this today. I love the movie Hocus Pocus. I'm honestly not a huge Halloween person, but I do love that movie, so I knew I wanted this the second I saw it, and I think they did a really great job with the packaging. I really like the outer box a lot. Sometimes I keep outer boxes when I like them, and I think this is going to be one. You also can see the book pages on the side, and then we have all the shade information on the back. So very excited to get into this. I'm only going to swatch a few of the shades just because swatches are not my thing, and really what it comes down to is how these perform on the eyes. Sometimes swatches aren't even that good, especially when it comes to matte. I'll only swatch a few of the shades today, but I'm so excited to get into it. Before we do, if you are new here, hello, my name is Emily, or MEG, whatever you want to call me. I do both beauty and fashion content on my channel, so if that sounds interesting to you, please go ahead and consider hitting that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and get into the palette. Alright guys, so I am now sitting a lot closer to you. I did go ahead and fill my brows in just because typically that is what I do first when I do my makeup. I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes with the Milani eyeshadow primer before we get started with the palette. If you do have more sensitive eyes, I suggest putting the eye primer down here as well as on top of your eyelids. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the palette. Now, right before I open the palette, just like look at the inside of this. I think they did such a good job on packaging. Like, the box is so cute. Anyways, go ahead and look at this. So this is the outer part of the palette. So you have the cauldron here, and then again, you got your shade information on the back. Here are the shades. So we have our character art of the 3 Sanderson sisters up here, which I really like the character art that they did. I don't know if it comes across on camera how like kind of grungy it is, but I really like the color story in this. In the pictures, I don't think the color story comes across quite as well. These are really nice kind of grungy colors, but also they do look a little bit more vibrant in person than they did in the pictures to me. Okay, so I just did 4 swatches. So the top one is the glitter shade. That is Brew Potion. I'm not going to use this shade. This shade definitely has a lot of fallout. I mean, it is a glitter shade, so that is expected, but I just don't love to work with glitters on my eyes. I get very nervous about putting them on my eyes. I do have glitter glue, but I just prefer not to use glitter glue if I don't have to. So probably not going to use this shade today, but at some point I definitely will test out. This shade is Tis Firm, which is this really pretty shimmery shade. This shade is, I call it a Bus, which is like a dark kind of midnight blue shimmer shade. And then I did swatch a matte, which is Bewitched. I went over this twice. The matte shades are really hard to tell in swatches, so really it's going to come down to how they perform on the eye. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually go into On Toast, which is this light brown matte shade, and that's going to be my crease shade. This particular shade seems to have a lot of pickup in the pan. All right, and I'm taking this on this little SL Miss Glam blender brush and just going ahead and sweeping this into the crease. This shade is very, very pigmented. I always like to take this brush for the crease. I know some people will take like a smaller brush and put it on a little bit and then blend it out. I don't like doing that. For some people, it works out really well, just not my favorite way to do transition shades personally. So I usually take this and just blend it out this way because I want the pigment to really show up, but also I don't want it to like look concentrated in an area at all and be kind of patchy. Okay, the next shade I think I'm going to take is Hello Salem, which is this light matte shade. And I'm going to take it on this Complex Culture blending brush. I'm just going to use this to diffuse out at the edges a little bit. So I'm just going to take this and kind of put it at the higher area of my crease. And this is just going to be to lighten this up and sort of diffuse out the shade that I already laid down. This shade does not have as much pickup as the On Toast shade does. This one is a lot lighter and a little bit easier to work with, but I do really like how pigmented these shades are so far. That is always a huge plus. Okay, I think the next shade I'm going to go into is going to be Night of Frolic, and that is this dark brown matte shade. It's like a reddish brown. I'm going to use that same brush again, and I'm going to pick up that pigment, and I'm going to put this at the outer corner of my eye. and kind of blend this into the crease a little bit, but really focus it on that outer portion of the eye area. This is really pretty. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more of that shade and just pack it onto the lid a little bit more at the outer portion. And I'm gonna take that in a little bit. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take that SL Miss Glam brush again, just because I want this to blend a little bit seamless. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that to the other eye now. I think next I'm gonna go into Thackeray Binks, which is the middle shade, is a shimmery like purple shade, and I'm gonna use this complex culture brush and go ahead and put this on the inner portion of the lid. And I really like this shade. I love like nice purple looks like this. I think this looks really good. It's picking up really nicely onto the brush and looking very good on the lid as well. I always put this into the crease just a little bit, and then I'm gonna take that complex brush that I was just using and I'm just going to buff that a little bit in the crease. Okay, and now I think I'm gonna go into Wench, which is like a shimmery silver shade, and I'm gonna pick that up on the same brush, and I'm just going to put this sort of in the center between the two shades on my eye. Putting this just in between Thackeray Binks and what was the other shade I have on? Night of the Frolic. So I just think that this adds like a nice little extra something to the eye look, and I like that it's silver too. Just gonna use this brush to blend it a little bit better on both eyes. The next shade I think I want to go into is gonna be Dead Man's Toe, and I'm gonna put this under my eye. Oh wow, that is really purple. Okay, that is a little bit more purple than I expected it to be, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that it wouldn't be quite as purple, but that's okay. So since that's like really intensely purple, I'm gonna take this complex culture brush and just smudge it underneath my eye. I think the next shade I'm gonna go into is, I call it a Bus, which is, like I said before, like a dark, I think it's a navy blue, but it almost looks like it could be black or purple. It has a lot of kick up though. I'm gonna go ahead and put this at the inner portion. Yeah, so I don't love this. This is my fault, not the palette's fault. I think I'll just put like a lighter shade in between the two just to like lighten it up a little bit. The next shade that I'm gonna go into in an attempt to lighten this up just a little bit is Coven, which is right here. Hopefully that works. If not, I might try like On Toast or Salem. Okay, I don't know about that either. Okay guys, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and inner corner highlight and use the shade Full Moon that's in here, and then I'm gonna see if that brightens the look a little bit more, and if I feel like I need to brighten it some more, I'll go ahead and pull another shade and put it underneath. I'm just putting this, like I said, in the inner corners. I'm going to pull it a little bit. I always like to pull the highlight just a little bit so that it's not quite as like drastic in the inner corners. I feel like sometimes it almost looks out of place if you don't blend it in a little bit with your eye look. I always try to do that with all of my eye looks. And then I'm gonna go ahead, take this brush. I think I am gonna add one color here just to see if I can balance this out just a tiny bit for my own personal sanity. The brow bone, I always try to just concentrate right underneath my eyebrow, and then usually I like to pull it a little bit closer to my nose as well, just so it's sort of even. And then usually what I do is I'll kind of take a fluffier brush like this and just sort of take like the crease shades I have in and kind of blend them towards the highlights so that it's not like in your face, you know? I think I'm actually gonna take Dead Man's Toe on this brush and just put a little bit of it, like a fleck of it almost, in the inner portion of my eye. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm just gonna put it right here. Yeah, I like that. I feel like that balanced the look out already. So I'm just putting it right here, kind of where I just put that inner corner highlight, as you can see, but blending it a little bit into the crease, just very lightly on my eye. And I think that looks really good, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that over here. I feel like that just really helped the look a lot. I didn't think it looked bad, but I just felt like it almost looked unbalanced to me, and I don't like when things don't look balanced. If you ever look at like my artwork or my prints, I always have like some type of symmetry or balance to my prints. Have a really hard time when things don't seem perfectly balanced to me. It very much bothers me. And then I'm gonna go ahead, take this crease brush and just blend this way. Okay guys, so I think this is going to be the look that I'm going to do with the palette. I'm going to go ahead, finish the rest of my makeup, and then we're going to come back and talk about this for final thoughts. So I will be right back in a minute. All right guys, I am back and this is the finished look. So let's go ahead and zoom in on the eyes so I can give you a better shot of what is going on top of them. Okay guys, so here is a zoomed in look at the final eye look. So here is the top of the eyes. I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out. I think that the shadows blended very well. Here are the bottom of the eyes. I definitely think this was a really good palette. This is very much like the Colourpop formula that we all know and love. I think sometimes with Colourpop, their collaborations, the formula sometimes I don't feel like might be as good as like their normal palettes, but I definitely feel like this one, the palette formula is the same as their other formulas, and I do really like it. I am happy again with the look, and I like the purple and like pink shadows with it. Very, very happy with how this performed. So let's zoom back out and I'll talk a little bit more about the palette. I did want to mention really quick, in case you're wondering what else I put on my eyes, I do have on the Laura Geller bronze eyeliner. I was going to use that Cleo Noir one that came in our Allure box, but the pigment would not go onto my waterline, so I just didn't use it and used the brown one instead. And I also have on the Wonder Beauty Unlashed mascara, and on my lips I do have on the Becca lip liner in the shade Confident, which is a red shade, and I also have on the KVD Vegan Beauty lipstick in the shade Prayer. With the palette, like I said, I think that the formula in this is very much like the traditional Colourpop formula. I feel like this is sort of what we know them for. If you have stuff similar to this, you don't need this palette. I mean, it is really nice, don't get me wrong. I definitely could dupe some of these shades personally, but I definitely think it's a really good palette still. If you're into Hocus Pocus, definitely think this is worth the money. It is 100% worth $22 in my opinion. I think the shadows performed really well, and overall I'm just really happy with it. I also just love the packaging, how they did everything with it. I'm hoping that they restock the eyeliner so I can get one, because I am interested in getting the red one, in case you're curious. I don't have a red eyeliner, so I think that'd be really cool to have, and I think you could do some really fun looks with the eyeshadow palette in collaboration with that eyeliner, but we'll see if they restock it. If not, you know, I'll live. Overall, I definitely think this palette's worth it. If you like the Colourpop formula, you're gonna like this palette. Those are my final thoughts on the palette, so let me know down in the comments below if you picked this palette up, or if you're planning on picking the palette up, or if you picked up any parts of the collection. I know some people weren't as into the palette just because the color story didn't like really call out to them. I will say I like the color story a lot more in person, so let me know, like I said, if you did pick the palette up, and if you didn't pick it up, if you want to pick it up, because I know it's sold out many times now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up before you go, and click the subscribe button if you are into beauty and fashion related content. That is all for today, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good one. Bye guys.